Hi, welcome to Moomoomath. Today we're going to look at the surface area of a prism. Well, let's remember, what is a prism? A prism is a rectangular solid with a length, a width, and a height. And I've got them labeled here on the diagram. And we're going to assume right now that those three measurements are all different. Okay, to find the surface area, we're trying to figure out how much cardboard it would take to create the box. So let's look at how we break it down. First, we're going to look at the top. Okay, the top has a width and a length. So see how I've drawn that over here? A width and a length. I've just redrawn it up here. Now remember, the top is the same surface area as the bottom. So when we find the length and the width, when we multiply that together to find this surface area, we're actually going to multiply it times 2 because we've got a top and a bottom. So I'm going to go down here and write 2 times the length times the width. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for this side panel. This is a length, and the other side of it is actually the height of this prism, so it's the length times the height. But remember, we have 2 of those. We have one on the front, and then we have one, and I haven't actually drawn it, but here it is on the opposite side. So I'm going to take 2 times the length times the height, or 2 times L times H. And then if you look at these end caps, I've got a height and a width. That's the surface area of this end, which I've drawn down here, which is a width and the height. And remember, I have 2 of those, one here and one down on this end. So I'm going to take 2 times the width times the height. And once I get those, I'm just going to add them all together to get the surface area. So now let's plug in a few numbers to make it make sense. Okay, let's say that the length is 6, the width is 4, and the height is 3. So let's just plug in those values. Okay, so the length times the width, which would be this area right here, would be 6 times 4, or 24. And we're going to double that because we have a top and a bottom. So the top and the bottom together have a surface area that's 48. Then we're going to take 2 length times heights. So that's this side. And our length is 6 and our height is 3. So that gives us 18. But then we have 2 of those. So 18 times 2 is 36. And then we're going to add to it 2 width times height. Well, the width is 4 and the height is 3, so that surface area of this end cap is 12. So 2 12s gives us 24. Now let's add all that up. 48 plus 36, and I just grab my calculator to make sure I don't make any silly mistakes, plus 24 adds up to 108 units squared, and that is a surface area, so it's units squared. So there's a little helpful diagram to help you figure out the surface area of a prism.